This video is made for adult collectors because Scourge has tattoos of the people he's killed. It's on again, the furnace. Every time I go to record audio, so my office is here, right? And that's my dad's side of the office. But oh, it just turned off. This idiot in here keeps making noise every time, and I can't put like soundproof insulation in here because it'll, it's a fire hazard if I put it on this side of the door. But So let's just get some important details out of the way right now. Gonna start by saying every Rise of the Beast toy was purchased at GameStop, with Scourge being bought at CMD store. This is every legally available Studio Series Rise of the Beast toy, and I've looked at some of these already. That video will be linked in the description below. And I have a Patreon if you want to check it out. It'll be in the description. Now, Scourge. He's interesting. And so is Cheetor. These are the last Rise of the Beast toys I needed to complete Wave 1 of Studio Series and RC, but my review of this is I don't like it and it should have been a deluxe. Both of these toys are very solid and look awesome, but are they actually fun toys? Let's talk about that. So I'm going to start off with Cheetor real quick here because a lot of you are going to want to see Scourge, but he's very Beast Machine / Transmetal, which I like a lot. The level of tooling detail is really nice. The chest and arms, especially the shoulders, they look great. I even like the bumpy texture parts on the arms here. My main issue though is with the shins and the spots. You can feel the spots if you rub your fingers over the spotted parts, so they can be scratched off if you're not careful. It feels durable enough, but it's something to watch out for. And the shins are so plain. I feel like if they wanted to go all out on a design choice, textured bumps, spots, or nothing, they should have committed to it. Because the way that they've done it here, it feels a tad disjointed and it just looks weird to me. Head sculpt is nice and clean. Paint's very well done and the sculpting looks top. Though the green eyes get lost and I kind of wish they were either more vibrant or light piped so you can make them glow more. Butt flap's weird, tail doesn't peg in so you have it flopping around if you aren't careful. His weapons look cool though. They combine to form a spear and store on his back, which is always a plus. And he's a nice hefty Voyager. Cleans up super well and feels solid in hand. Again, his plastic feels like bumblebees, which is good because I'm not worried about anything breaking on Cheetor. So I'll try to get through the articulation in detail, but also as quick as I can because I know a lot of you just want to see this guy. But I still want to talk about Cheetor because he's cool. Let me just remove the things off his back. They're going to fall off anyway, so I'm squeezing the back here. Head is on a very nice ball joint, so you can get all sorts of range. Shoulders can do a full 360. Now, the shoulder pads move independently from the arms, and I am not the biggest fan of how that looks. So how I'm going to be displaying it is just like that a little bit. I feel like that rounds him out a bit more, gives him a little bit more bulk, and I like that. Because in the trailers, he looks like he's a really bulky dude. So yeah, I'm going to leave him like that anyways. They can go out that far, and then you can use transformation joint to get the arms out even further. If you want. You got bicep rotation, single jointed elbow, wrist swivel, and then his Wolverine claws can flap. You can move the annoying butt flap out of the way to get a waist rotation. Hips can go forward, they can go back, they can go in and out. They go out at a weird, slightly upper angle, so it's a bit strange. You got thigh swivel, you got 90 degrees of bend at the knee, and the feet can pivot and toes can bend forward. He has a toe joint. It's more for transformation, but you can still, as you saw in one of the shots, you can still actually like use it. Like there he is, he's balanced on his toe. So that's cool. He's quite posable actually. Like you can get him into more stable poses than this thing, I will say. So it's really nice and I like it and it feels great. But anyway, let's Scourge. Transformation is very basic, beast former. Put him on all fours, fold out the cheetah head, nothing super fancy, but the forearms do a little bit of extra like stuff, which is nice to see. And I will say folding the head away and folding out the cheetah head is super satisfying. We'll touch on the alt mode in a minute because I know most of you are waiting to see Scourge, so let's look at him first. Scourge looks amazing. Just like the Fallen, he is super camera friendly and I love sitting down taking pictures of this dude He's also solid as a rock. Everything feels super polished except for one aspect, but I'll talk about that later. Every joint is nice and tight. Nothing feels like it's gonna fall off. It's just done very well. Backpack doesn't peg in on mine, but the hinge is strong enough to hold it in place. You also don't have to do the whole wheel sticking out of the back of the leg thing if you don't like the way that that looks. You can just put the ankle back and have a straight leg if you wish, which I think is cool. He's also tall, like almost the Fallen tall. But let's get into the thing I alluded to earlier. The one aspect that I said I would talk about, the clear plastic. So just like a lot of modern toys, the clear plastic feels solid. It's visibly thicker too, so it's stronger than like Earthrise plastic, Kingdom clear plastic, or whatever. But it's on hinges, some with pins in them. So it's something to please be careful of. The transformation doesn't require you to force anything, unlike Battle Trap, so there's no real scare to it. And the reason they use all this clear orange was to try and get like a sort of flame on fire effect in alt mode, but it kind of works. Now the cracking back. When I posted images of this on Twitter and Instagram, go follow those by the way, people asked me about the cracking issues. Now, as I'm someone who doesn't pay attention to the stolen toy shit, I did not know what they were talking about. So I Googled it and I found some people who bought stolen copies of Scourge, like way before he was released, and they talked about theirs coming cracked or cracking immediately. It's almost like those are factory rejects. That's why I stay away from that stuff. There's a reason those toys are scheduled to go back into the melting pot and aren't supposed to be out there. I have no worry with the back of this guy, seeing as this retail version, like here's a picture of the box. So as I said, whoa, I hit puberty there. So as I said, it feels fine, but still be careful. Now he is a shell former. The majority of the truck is on his back, but unlike certain shell formers, it looks quite good. The smokestacks over the shoulder are nice. There's also like 3mm holes in the smokestacks. However, the angle of the smokestacks here makes it hard for me to plug anything into it. I tried plugging a couple of like old Cyberverse Commander weapons because they're 3mm and they just didn't fit. Well, they fit, but they wouldn't stick in all the way because of the curve. But I feel like someone's gonna make flame effects for this. Oh, that would have been so cool if he came with flame effects for the smokestacks. He should have. Hasbro, you gotta start making those again. Blast effects, they were good. Stop just including them in Titans and HasLabs. Give us more. He comes with an array of weapons. He's got the Violator Claw, the Shockwave Arm Blade, and the Ass Blaster. So named because it stores on his ass. The claw and the blade look epic. Even though I wish the blade could fold back a bit more to sort of like store on his arm. I don't know if it's actually gonna do that in the film, so that might be why. And putting the cannon on, you rip his arm off and plug the new one in. It's not 5mm, it's a barrel with a clip and a tab, so it actually stays in place. And the gun is 5mm, so it's blast effect compatible, so go nuts. So Scourge's wrong arm. Scourge's articulation is very plentiful. He has a lot going on inside of him. I wasn't expecting this, to be completely honest, when they first showed us like the pictures and on the stream, which I do want to mention something about the stream real quick that Hasbro did when they announced the Studio Series Rise of the Beast toys. They put Scourge on the table and he looked like he was going to fall over all the time. Like he had really loose ankles and knees. Not the case here. That was, I saw some people complaining about it. The thing they're showing off is an engineering pilot. It's like a test shot, right? He actually has ratcheted knees and really stiff ankles, so you'll be fine. Anyways, the head is on a ball joint below and a ball joint above. It kind of works like Revenge of the Fallen Lockdown's neck. Kinda. Lockdown's neck had an extra joint in it. Now, I did see people ask me, can you take the chainmail off and just put his head there? No. That neck ball joint at the top is a different size from the one at the bottom. It's slightly bigger, so it wouldn't work. I don't know why they did that, but they did that. Also, his chin, there's no space there for you to put like the actual head. I'm pointing at it like you can see it, but it's so shadowy you can't really see it. But it won't work. Let's just say that. Also, no, he does not look like Optimus Prime. People need to... Yeah. Quiet. Shoulders are interesting. So they rotate forward and back, right? You can move the backpack out of the way to accommodate more motion. And then they go up and down. Now it looks like he has the dreaded trigger happy shoulders that I love so much. I don't actually, but there's a joint underneath that as well. So you can go all the way up if you want to. And you can go up and rotate the arms like a normal person, not like the weird way they decide to do it there, but hey, you don't have to do that. Also, the shoulder pads are adjustable. You can do whatever you want with those. He got bicep, this one's really stiff, bicep rotation. Elbow bend. Both arms are exactly the same, by the way, with the elbow articulation, even though this one comes out all the same. Out of focus. There we go. The claw arm has 4
individual finger pieces. I kind of wish the wrist could rotate here on this side, but it does not. Pain. These are really stiff and strong, by the way, so he can hold Bumblebee with no problem. He can literally hold anything. You saw a shot of him holding Cheetor. All of his joints are really stiff. And then on this side, you have finger articulation, and you can bring the claw not all the way out. I'm just stupid. You fold it in like this, and then it clips into his hand. Fold his hand over it, and he can hold his blade, which is cool. I'm assuming he does this in the film, otherwise why would they put it on here? So that'll be neat to see. He does have a waist rotation. Hips can go forward, they can go back. They're really stiff universal joints. They can go in and out. Has a thigh rotation, which is very nice. I also just noticed there's molded tires into his hips. Now the knees are ratcheted. They're very soft detents, but they're really like, he's not moving. They're really, really strong. Here, let's listen to him. It might feel like the knee is on too tight. That's what I thought it was at the beginning, but no, it's just a really strong like ratchet in both knees. But you have the ratchet, and then the feet can go forward all the way. They can go back a little bit. You got ankle pivot, and if you want to use this as a toe swivel, you can use it as a toe swivel. You can also use this to sort of like make him taller if you want to. So you can do that just by untransforming it. It's really cool. But yeah, he is full of just stuff to do, which is awesome. That's why he's like so photogenic. He's so much fun to pose around. He's very cool.
Now this thing's instructions suck. They suck ass. I'm gonna walk you through it and point out the bits that I struggle with, because there's a couple parts you want to be careful of, and the instructions just don't point them out. So it was a very grueling 15 minutes of me trying to figure this out.
So let's transform him, shall we? Put my phone on the floor first. So these things, Hasbro, please change this. These pictures suck. They always suck. They're never good. And if you want people to use the main gimmick of your toys, which is transformation, fix the instructions. That literally flew off the desk. Anyways, let's get him transformed, because it's kind of complicated if you're looking at the instructions for the first time. It reminds me a lot. Let me get the figure. Oop. It reminds me a lot of transforming this mold for the first time, because this is actually quite complex when you're working on the legs, and the instructions were terrible. Same with this thing. So to start with, you want to first get the legs oriented. So you would just sort of straighten them all out like that, bring this around, peg it into place like so. So far it gets easy, right? And then you realize that you have to fold the peg out, and now you're like, that's a masterpiece thing. You don't see that on a main toy a lot of times. You rotate this around and you peg the thigh into the pee-pee area. This side though, I want you to actually take it out, because you're gonna need to leave it out to start with. Instructions aren't super clear on that. Fold these out just to get them out of the way for now. Now we're going to work on the back section. So you want to unfold this all out like that. It is on a double hinge, and you want to make sure it is completely straight. Then you want to fold this section out like so. Bring these out like that. Now all of this is clear plastic, but as I said, you can see actually how thick, well, you can't actually because I'm not showing it properly. You can see how thick it is. So it's pretty solid, but I would still be careful with it because it is clear. Once you have all that folded out, just kind of leave it there for now. Now you want to take the blade, you want to fold this down like so, then you want to extend the whole thing out like that. Now the shoulders, this is another part the instructions aren't super clear on. You want to bring them up on the closer hinge and then fold it down on the actual shoulder hinge. And then you want to rotate it on the backwards butterfly joint in, and then you want to peg the blade into the leg. Now you can peg the legs together. Voila. And now you have the front of the truck sort of started. So do the same thing on the other side, bring it up, bring this down and around, rotate it on the butterfly joint till it is up. Now with the claw arm, they don't specify this in the instructions, but there are these two sections right here that like to bump into this a lot. They're supposed to like cup these joints here, but they don't do a good enough job. So what I do is I rotate it on an angle slightly so that it's like this. That way this piece has a chance to clear that and sit in place. So once you get that all sorted, this is the hardest part, is trying to get this smooshed down. Now, in the manual, they don't really specify how you're supposed to do it. So it took me a while, but the hinge is the key part, the orientation of this hinge, which is out of focus. So what you do is you bring it forward, then you bring it on this section here, fold it in until it flattens out like that. So now it looks like this. Then you can bring it down. Then you can peg all of this into place. And now you have the truck folded down. That took me ages to figure out because instructions don't tell you what that orientation of that hinge is supposed to be. And that's really important. And I feel like if you start manhandling it, you could potentially break it. So yeah, just be careful. Now you want to do the grill section. This is also quite interesting the way that this works. So you want to unpeg it, right? Flip it out and just bring it off to the side. Then you want to take this wheel, fold it out, and it will just peg in like so. Flip this wheel out. Now before you peg this in, this is on a weird armature. So you want to just bring it around like that until it's oriented like this. Peg it in, fold the grill up, get everything situated, and there's the front of the truck done. Now you just want to fold the smokestacks out just like that, and just like that. And then finally, close this section up. And there you have Scourge. Very complex, but he kind of works. Now, the weapon storage is really cool too. You want to open this up, fold this around, and then have these two ports facing down. And you want to peg it bar side to the back, peg it in to the back, because that's actually accurate to the truck in the movie. And there you have Scourge. Now, one thing I will want to note when going back into robot mode, when you have to open these sections up, I would advise untabbing it and then sticking your finger all the way in there and then folding it out. You don't want to pull on this section here because there's not a lot of leverage there, right? So I would get close to the hinge and then fold it out. Just a little word of precaution. Truck. I don't know where the accent came from.
Now, both alt modes look cool. Cheetor is basically a brick. He looks fine, but again, that inconsistent deco looks weird, and it's not accurate to what we see in the trailers, but that's normal with toys that are released before the film. And the hands sticking out make him look real weird, like a man on all fours rather than a cheetah. But again, you probably want to see Scourge, you weirdos, so let's move on to Scourge. Badass. That's it, just badass. No, for real though, it's looking nasty, but like good nasty. This is a mean looking truck, and plenty of people have asked for specific comparisons. So here you go. Here's all the ones that I was requested. Scourge is definitely a better figure than Dark of the Moon Megs. Oh my god. This is a big truck. Like, it's bigger than Studio Series Prime, bigger cab-wise than Dark of the Moon Megatron, and while I don't have him here, he scales pretty okay with Galvatron. But the colors, the paintwork, the tooling, all that praise from the robot mode is just here on the truck too. The hubs on the wheels, these gas tank looking things on the side, the gap. Okay, there is a gap here and it will bother some people, but as usual, I don't really care. It's there not only for the shoulder pads to have articulation in robot mode, but also you can see the clear orange through it. So it's trying to be like another sort of flamey effect thing. Doesn't really work great, but it's there. I love how the front is made up of the shoulder plaids. Yes, Scourge in plaid. I like how the front is made of shoulder pads. There we go. And the clear orange parts make him look like he's on fire in certain lights in the windshields. The grille is adorned with badges, and you can make them out quite well for how small they are. They sculpted that so well. There's even a Terracon symbol underneath the grille. Bro so brutally kills his own kind. Weapon unfolds to store on the back and is an actual portion of the truck, and it helps hide the claw hand away, so like I like it a lot. What I find weird is there's a trailer hitch molded into this toy, but it's on the thighs and it's backwards and split and on two different sides of the truck. It looks weird in truck mode, but that's like my only real visual complaint. He's just a badass looking truck and a pretty good toy overall, all things considered. Both are, really. Sure, they have some weird oddities and some things to watch out for, more so Scourge and Cheetor, but as a whole, they're nifty and I'm glad I bought both of them. Now, how would I rank these toys of Wave 1? If I'm going from best to worst, in my opinion, I would go Bumblebee, Cheetor, Scourge, Air Razor, Freezer, god damn it, Battle Trap, and RC. Oh, and I totally forgot to show Freezer's compatibility with Scourge. He does that. there you go. I'd say this is a pretty not bad first wave. RC and Freezer are okay, but RC feels like she's needs to be bigger and Freezer's elbow cracks. Airazor's kind of bland. Scourge is badass. Cheetor is solid. Bumblebee knocks everyone out of the park, and like everyone's expectations are just blown away by how good he is. And Battletrap fights you at every given moment, but he still looks great. So I'd say these figures are good to own, and Scourge and Cheetor I'd say are totally worth their asking price. Like, Cheetor just feels great. Scourge is big and complex, so I feel like the leader price is sort of warranted there. Cheetor just feels like he's made of enough material to be that Voyager price. So yeah, I say they're worth it. But that's my look at Scourge and Cheetor from Rise of the Beast. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye. I've had to sneeze for like that entire recording, and it still won't come out.